John, we're here today. We got you and I always talk about fireworks, right? We're always talking about the breaks, the color, the packaging, whatever. But today we got the guys, the designer and the illustrator responsible for the label design for Pyro Slut's Midnight Ride. Midnight Ride is coming out soon on the water now. It'll be at Starr Fireworks.
I was under the impression you were doing the label. I thought this was all you. So this is not you at all.
No. This was you too. We had these guys. I can't draw. Me. Banker, they tell bankers not to.
So basically, I don't get a loan from you, even though you're a banker, and I don't get you're a production guy, but I'm not getting any artwork.
I'm like a big black hole you just keep pouring money into.
I got a feeling this is now I see where our relationship is going. It's all about money missing.
We're here to talk about the label, what it takes to create such an iconic. I'm going to say iconic image. We got the girl on the horse. This is the second illustration created by this team. The first was obviously colorful Decade of Discord behind us, and the new label obviously has the advantage of having a sexy girl on a horse, and the other one is just you and I behind the Resolute.
Oh yeah, but see, when I do the Decade of Discord #2, it's going to be with a new co-host. She's going to be like, probably blonde hair, it'd be kind of a cross between Midnight Ride and
there you go,
and something more like like fitting for like something more I could actually get. Instead of
help with views.
Yeah, not a dream. This will actually be like. Probably be like a new co-host.
You need a co-host who knows when to hit the record button.
Hit the record button, and
so it's Kyle Kucsera Design, and Bill Halliar. What's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
So just gonna ask you guys a few questions. Like I said, John and I usually we do the fireworks thing. We go through the fireworks and the effects and the pyrotechnics of it all, but we thought with this first look of Midnight Ride, we would like to maybe get an idea from the illustration point of view from the label and the logo. So Decade of Discord, me and John behind the desk. Midnight Ride, he's like I said, is a sexy pyro slut riding the horse, not unlike Paul Revere back in Massachusetts in 1775. Is the process different when creating a firework label such as illustration, actual people, John and I, we was just the two of us, and then you had a fictional character, the Pyro Slut. What's the difference, the mindset when you're trying to create one or the other?
Yeah, I would say overall the creative process for designing either or is typically the same. We Bill and myself, we follow a framework to run clients through, strategy to design to production. I think really the only difference is just what we're designing and why we're designing this. So when we approached Decade of Discord and Midnight Ride, I think the biggest difference between either of these, because they do share a very similar illustrative, almost comic book style, is just our approach to concept discovery, research, and concept development, right? Because the discovery process for Decade of Discord and Midnight Ride, as you can see, they're two totally different subjects. Midnight Ride was a little racy, I guess you could say, and the other one a bit more presidential. So I think those are the two biggest differences, right, Bill?
Yeah, I think I got to have a little more fun in the discovery section because, for the Midnight Ride there, Kyle sent me a bunch of classic stuff, Paul Revere stuff, And for my part, I had to go out and investigate sexy lady stuff,
Nice.
So I had to go, I went out and looked out how I was going to design.
You see him driving around at night like in a shady neighborhood.
Bill's at the strip club.
Yeah.
Wait, hold still, lady.
Yeah. He's doing
some in contrast to that, Bill had to look at two pictures of you guys for Discord,
Yeah. He's got the stripper holding a lantern.
It's kind of like our relationship. You're more racy and I'm more presidential.
Oh, yeah. Well, these days with the president in the office, we don't know who's who.
I'd definitely be the more presidential one now.
So, that's a good point. I mean, again, I was just thinking more along the lines of you got fictional characters and you got, two people that are here, but at the end of the day, it's still an illustration. It's still very comical. You know, I often say that in the Decade of Discord, I look like Jay Leno and he looks like Uncle Fester. So
Yeah.
it makes it makes me crack up. The process
I
different.
think I said originally, fire those guys. No.
Hey, your features are just accentuated a little bit.
I mean, I did a label for him. I gave him a better body. What is he?
Yeah.
He just attacks my looks.
Yeah. Is the process different when creating a firework label such as Midnight Ride? I mean, different because it's a firework. Did you think about it differently?
I think the biggest difference with a firework label as opposed to maybe, I don't know, a packaging label for, let's say, a food product is that in those types of industries, you're kind of boxed in a little bit on the creativity. With the firework industry, there's really no limits to what we can create. And I think that gives us a bit of excitement when we approach projects like this because, working with you guys, you really don't give us too many parameters to work within. You kind of give us creative freedom to really push the limits on these illustrations.
Yeah, it can be a little more fun, a little more dangerous.
Yeah,
which is cool. Some more interesting themes we can explore there too. I'm looking forward to doing some more Pyro Slut images. I hope we get a chance to do.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely going to do more. We always try and grow a line, over time and stuff like that. So we always like to have, we got 3 different labels that we currently, or 3 different brands that we currently produce labels for. So now we focused more on the Pyro Slut and got away from Wise Guy brand, and we still have our Sin City brand that we do. So we have a few more. We try and get as many labels as we can, new products every year.
Of course.
Yeah. These days, though, and I'll ask you guys what you think about it. These days, when you walk through a fireworks convention, NFA, actually, guys, that would be fun to walk through NFA with you guys and look at all the different labels at the convention. It's in Indiana this year.
I'm very interested in seeing some of that.
Yeah, but a lot of them you could tell that it's all AI generated. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm. Well,
they're both silent.
Where do we start? Where do we start with this? I mean, in my opinion, with AI, it's just a tool, right? And it's just, you got to learn how to integrate it into your workflow. Even though Bill and I, we didn't come up in our careers utilizing AI, there is a certain area in your workflow, whether you're illustrating or developing a website, to integrate that. And it can kind of help you work through maybe more of the conceptual phases of any given project, maybe refine the more analytical side of your strategy. But in the end, it comes down to the operator, right? The person who is operating the AI. Just because you give somebody a hammer and some wood doesn't mean they're going to be able to build a house, right?
Yeah.
And there's so many people out here these days just slopping together AI developed designs, and there's no strategy behind them. There's no connection really being built with the people that are interacting with them.
Yeah, I say you give it another, maybe not even a year, but a year, 2 years. All those AI designs are already looking very similar. You talked about other designers, other creators having you can tell a company by the kind of design they use on their boxes or on their products.
Right.
As AI becomes more and more prevalent, everything will start looking, not just, each group, everything will start looking the same, and people are going to get sick of that pretty quick. If you want to stand out very soon, not using AI will be the best way to stand out.
Yeah, like I said, you could tell.
You
could definitely tell when there's when it's AI generated. Nothing about either one of these is AI generated. We took a long time to get these done.
And it also, when you're I sat in a Starbucks in Florida for 20 minutes with a friend of mine, and we did an AI label in 15, 20 minutes, but I would never have been able to do that on my own. It's really the guy also working with AI and also putting into parameters and really doing it to generate a better label. What I really found interesting was then we go to name it, which I struggle with. I come up with a lot of names, but I struggle with the ideas for the label then. You know, the name will be like, yeah, the shocker. Okay, but where do I go with that now? What's, you know, because I still have to have the ideas in my head to tell you guys what to do. So we're doing it on AI, and we had to put a lot of thought into it as well. But what I really loved was then we said, okay, name it. And it came up with 10 really good names. And I was able to pick one out of the 10. And in 20 minutes, we were done. And I'm like, this is easy. And it was one of them labels that we needed to get done right away. And it was like, wow, that's awesome. But you still need someone really talented, even in that field, to, or else they are all going to become looking, you know, the more you give it, the more it can do for you. But if you're very vague, it seems like we're all going to have the same label.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Everything will get really samey.
Yes. And think about all of think about how we stair-stepped into developing both of those labels behind you. It was a very personal process between us, very collaborative, and we did a lot of research, a lot of discovery, a lot of concept development with storyboarding and sketching, and just bringing all of your ideas and curating them into this piece that really connected with you guys, but also we felt confident it was going to be selling inside of your store as well. And when you're going through that process with AI, it's just very cumbersome. And at times you feel like AI isn't listening to what you have to say and isn't really designing to those finer details that you're looking for. But with us,
and it's not personal either.
it's not
Going to have that personal touch.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's computer. You know who's good at AI? Louis. Louis will sit there and create little 3-second movies or whatever. But if you know an uncreative guy, not that he's a guy like that can just sit around and on
Well, he's got nothing else to do.
I know he was showing me all these videos last night. He made her on the horse, and the horse was with the smoke out of his nose. But you could tell it's this one. This one's gonna get animated, but we're gonna animate it with the Fiverr guys. But they don't charge a lot, and I hope they don't use AI, but I can tell pretty much all the time when it's AI. You could just tell.
It's really got a certain look to it, doesn't it?
It does.
So you didn't really think that was me, a strip at a nursing home on the pole?
No,
you knew that was AI.
I think John's ass is much tighter than that. Come on.
So you knew that was AI. Okay, that looked pretty good to me.
So after doing a couple fireworks labels, has either one of you noticed, firework labels more? Have you like driven past, or you've seen something in a magazine where like, hey, that's a firework label? You pay more attention to fireworks labels?
I kind of always did. I'm an art nerd. So like I'll end up spending like 40 minutes in the liquor store, and people are like, whoa, what's going on in there, Bill? I'm like, these labels are really cool. I was just going up and down checking out all these labels, and I do the same thing. I do the same thing at the fireworks store. Like there's so many cool labels, that look like heavy metal posters or whatever.
For sure.
Screaming skulls, flaming bulls. I love all that stuff.
Yeah, in all my travels, I do the same thing. I'll walk by a t-shirt shop and go in there, and then I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Or else I'm down in Cabo and they just redid this sign outside of one of these bars. I'm like, that'd be a nice firework. So I always take a picture of it. And I also see a lot of different, like, same thing, like walking through a liquor store, Fireball is real popular, and I come out with a Fireball rocket, So Fireball is a great name for a rocket. And then I kind of did a sketch almost kind of similar to Fireball, but a little different. But, sometimes I get good names and good inspiration from different iconic signs I see or something like that. We did the L Squid Row. I mean, it was a cool looking sign, Sure. So I'm like, that would be a cool firework. Because back in the day, early years, maybe 60s, early 70s, a lot of the labels were very generic, but they had some tie to the actual effect of the firework. But now the labels mean nothing to the effect of the firework.
Right. Yeah.
So we had to change our whole way of thinking, you know, blossom after
Monstrous
thunder.
willows.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would
Definitely.
give you some type of indication, blue chrysanthemums. It would
Yeah.
give you an indication of what was in the package. Now, happy ending.
Yeah,
We
so
had
then
no idea what.
Yeah, so we had to change
Midnight
our,
Ride. Yeah, we don't.
so we had to change. I had to change my whole way of thinking for
Of course.
labels as well, because in the early years we were trying to match the effect and the label, and now we just need to match the name and the label.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I agree. Once you actually start working in an industry, your eyes start opening up a lot more towards, at least with our conversation, with fireworks. And just being able to look around you in the real world and draw inspiration and ideas from what's been done. I would say that's an integral part to our design process. And, kind of like what you're saying, referencing, old fireworks packagings from the 70s. Granted, it's 2026, as you guys know. I still look back to design from the greats from back in the 60s and the 70s, because that's when a lot of really, really good design.
There was a lot of talent back then.
There's a lot of talent, and a lot of things haven't been created yet. So they were pioneering a whole entire look of modern design. And I love looking back to those archives of design that might have gotten forgotten about over X amount of years. And even in our area, both of these illustration styles, even though I didn't say this to you guys when we were creating it, there's a famous fireworks store out here in Northwest Indiana called Crazy Kaplan.
Oh yeah, we know.
And he's kind of like an Uncle Sam, and he looks very crazy and deranged. And he's got fireworks coming out of him, and he looks insane. And it's one of the best, most iconic firework designs in Northwest Indiana that I think I've ever seen. Bill, you've seen Crazy Kaplan.
Oh yeah,
they're all driving up and down the highway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The funny thing is, he looks
baked into my memory.
He looks nothing even remotely like that. Not even close. But so you guys are artists. So I think I know the answer to this question already, but I'll see what you guys think. So as a guy like me, not knowing anything, what do you guys come up with first? Would you come up with the name first or the label first?
Boy, I think for me, it kind of goes either way. I am an artist, and I do think visually for sure. But I just as often come up with a title or a name to inspire the thing.
See, like I'll be in China next week, and when I'm in China in October seeing these demos, I'll see a particular, firework go off. Now it's a brown wrap. It has no name or nothing on it. I'm like, oh, and I immediately make a note. This is the name of this item just by the effect. I'm like, oh, that'd be perfect. This is the name. And then I go home or back to my room. Then I try and think of a label to go with that name. So I kind of thought, being that you guys were artists, that you may come up with the label design first and then the name. And that's kind of what I did with AI. We had the label design and then we asked them for names, and it came up with 10 names, and all of them kind of actually were pretty good, And then obviously one I like better than the rest of them. But that's only personal opinion.
Right.
So I guess even though you guys are artists, you would probably still, it's 50-50 what you might go with.
I think based on what you're saying, at least in the firework industry, it makes a lot of sense with you being able to first see that fireworks shoot off.
Yeah.
And see it explode and just get the experience of that first. And then from there, we start strategizing on naming, nomenclature, thinking of ways to verbally describe this experience and this firework. My design studio is very rooted in brand strategy, packaging strategy, web strategy. That all comes before you actually start putting pen to paper and creating something. because the name or the experience can definitely influence how you end up designing a package for a firework.
Yeah,
So,
I personally like to see the firework in person and then name it. What we did with Decade of Discord and what we did with this one is exactly the opposite of what I normally do. We're coming up with a label because of 1776.
Right.
You know,
You had a specific thing you were referencing.
yeah, so we're doing the label first. Now I got to go back and pick out. Well, I said, well, I really want. I need obviously I need red, white, and blue, but it's. I actually like to see the firework first, and then say, "Wow, that's going to be like when I named Golden Nugget." I knew right away when I saw it up in here. I'm like, "Oh my god, that's Sin City theme, Vegas theme." So I'm like, "Oh, it's got to be Golden Nugget."
Yeah, but you would be the only one to name them then because you're the only one that sees the demos. Yeah. So Decade of Discord had something to do with 10 years of podcasting and and Midnight Ride.
You can pick out the shot.
Yeah, Midnight. Yeah,
Midnight Ride. We're picking out we're going with the red, white, and blue theme color.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, patriotic. You kind of I think you shoehorn it in either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Both of those directions work well. Looking at the firework first, then developing the strategy and the creativity behind it, or coming up with the theme and then kind of backpedaling and then selecting the type of firework that's actually going to be the experience for the viewer.
Yeah, all of the big firework companies, they do it exactly that way. They draw a bunch of labels, have a bunch of labels done, and then they go to China and say, I need, 20 rectangles, I need 20 circle fountains, and here's all the artwork.
Yeah, they don't
care what anything does. It's whatever their developer design. And like we were talking earlier, that's one of the reasons why we carry so many different brands at Starr Fireworks, is every company has, you can just start, whether it be AI generated or not, I don't know, but they all have almost the same type of label. So when you get 21 different vendors in your store, you could really see a difference between one manufacturer and another manufacturer just based on their label design. And it's kind of cool because I think a fireworks store, when you go in and it has just a couple different brand names, it's very boring to me. It doesn't, nothing really pops. You go into a, say for instance, a Phantom Fireworks store. Well, all their labels kind of look very similar because it's the same company, same group drawing them. And how many ideas this guy have? And maybe a lot of them are AI generated where they all start to look alike, and I noticed that, and their stores become very boring to me, and everything having the same logo becomes very boring.
I mean, Starr Fireworks is not boring.
No, when you walk in, it's like there's just
and
so many different
many of these labels. We have posters on the wall with the label. Cartel Night. We got all of them that we've gone over the years. You have Happy Ending with me and massage table.
And you get that inspiration, by traveling and seeing different, say, I go in a t-shirt shop and, I'm looking at this Guns N' Roses poster right here, and I could easily make that's almost like a crazy Kaplan theme right there. I could easily make a label for a firework out of that.
That's a pinball poster. Yeah.
So, I mean, but I get inspiration just looking at different things,
You will do that. Everyone, you'll be like, hey, that would be a great label. Yeah. And then, next thing you know, there's a label.
And I'm like you, I always write down my ideas because I got to remember them,
So
I do the same thing.
Yep.
Both of you guys, is there a logo or an illustration that you wish you would have created? For me, we talked earlier about, you can, you like going through the stores and the liquor store, right, and looking at all the labels. I could go to a music store and I could spend days there. I can go to either a record store where they sell records, or I can go to like musical instrument gear. I could look at like that DW drums. I just love the logo. I can look at logos all day long. Which for me it would be like, if I had to pick one or two, I'd be like the Rolling Stones logo with the lips, right, and the tongue. Or Nike, the Nike swoosh. Those are a couple. What are a couple of logos or labels that you guys wish you would have created?
Man, that's there's so many.
It's tough. I would say, just to keep this relevant to the conversation about fireworks, if there was one firework logo that I would be proud to have created, it's probably the Crazy Kaplan logo.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
It really
good.
is. They did such a great job. Uncle Sam with a stick of dynamite and a straitjacket on, just looking absolutely insane. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's so cool.
There's one we see at NFA all the time, Pyro Junkie.
Pyro Junkie,
Kind of the
yeah.
same, but it's very reminiscent of the atomic warheads, the candy that you eat. You know,
Okay.
like the guy's head exploding. Look, you could look it up. Yeah, and
Right.
we actually had that guy on the podcast a couple times. I love his logo. He's got a great booth. You guys would enjoy going to NFA, walking around and seeing all those fireworks labels. You would get a kick out of it. You know, booths and rows of just product and, you know, banners the size of the wall, right? Of, you know,
Yeah.
Crazy Kaplan or you know, whatever. It's fun. I enjoy all that stuff.
Did you
Yeah,
say
I
that was
like-
in Indiana this year?
What?
Did you say that was in Indiana this year?
It's in Fort Wayne,
Yeah, Fort Wayne, Indiana this year.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
September 13th, I want to say.
Yeah.
Oh.
Something like that.
Then we could probably get them a couple of special guest passes. and
Yeah,
stuff
we'll
like
get
that
you in there if you guys want to go.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I'd like that.
How far are you from Fort Wayne?
I don't know, like an hour, not very far.
Yeah, probably about an hour.
Yeah. It's in Fort
Get
Wayne.
a
It's,
booth, Bill, and start selling our services to the fireworks.
Yeah.
We'll
there you know what? You might that's not a bad idea.
have some packaging from these
All
guys
their
and make
labels
it
don't look
happen.
like our labels. No. Well, you know, it's funny when we talk about logos and everything, and I just happen to be doing weekly shopping here the other day at Walmart, and which nobody should really subject themselves to, but I have to.
Yeah.
And if you look at Walmart's great value product,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that logo is so ugly. I'm sure Sam Walton had his grandson do it. You know, I mean, you know,
What is it?
it's the great, you know, Walmart's got their brand, Great Value.
Oh, I don't know.
And-
Terrible.
And I just haven't been, you know, going down the aisles and, you know, you see a lot of Great Value because that's Walmart's product.
Oh, yeah, I didn't
I'm
know.
sure this was the label. I mean, Great Value is not a great name by any way, but you can spice up any name with a good logo.
Good.
But if
Yeah.
you actually look at the Great Value Walmart logo, you're just like, did Sam Walton give this to his 8-year-old grandson to do, and then just give him $1 million and we love it, you know, like, you know, just, you know, how everyone just makes their kid like, oh, look at a beautiful design he did. I mean, I don't even buy that product because I don't even like the logo. I mean, you know,
It says a lot about your product. Whenever I get a great value product, I know I'm saving money, but I think I'm probably getting the cheapest
Yeah.
product possible.
yeah.
And
Right.
I
you
mean,
know
they
what?
could have
The
done
quality, and there's no value. Let's be honest. There's not
Yeah.
much value.
Yeah, they
The
could have
value is
maybe.
not exceeding the cost.
Yeah, they could have done so much more with just a logo to make it look like you're getting a superior product. When I
Yeah.
buy that, I feel like I'm just getting ripped off, and I'm not even gonna like this mayonnaise. You know what I mean, just by the look of it.
Do you guys remember the classic generic when it was just like
Yep.
black and white or
Yeah.
yellow and black and yellow, and it's just like a black stripe, and it
Yeah.
would say peanut butter
Mhm.
And
or bleach.
and
and it was
fireworks
literally
has
two
something
colors.
similar to that, and it's called brown wrap, right?
Mhm.
It's just a firework in a brown wrapper, and it just tells you right on the top of it what it does.
Just what-
Yeah, that's it. Brown wrapper.
Now, there's sometimes I don't have time for a label, and I will get a brown wrap in. Now, you put a brown wrap piece on a shelf in the middle of all those aisles with all beautiful labels and logos. I'm telling you, people will buy the brown wrap first, just because
Yeah,
it's
well,
different.
it's different. Yeah.
And then a company, good size firework company, decided to make a lot of brown wrap labels with just like, you know, brown wrap label and maybe a name in orange or something like that. And in the beginning, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Well, once again, if you make all your labels like that, then you're looking for Midnight Ride. It's just too much of one thing is not good. And that's what I see in fireworks stores. That's why we carry a lot of different brands, because too much of one thing is just not good. The brown label is a great thing when it's by itself, but when everything's brown label, you're looking for, you know, it's like the matte finish car. It's cool when I see the dealership, but
One of
I
them,
get
yeah.
very tired of it. You know,
Are there stores that just sell brown wrap fireworks?
Well, there's a store that they decided to, because they decided to do like this brown wrap theme, and they start making more and more product with just a brown wrap. Very easy to do for them, but after a while, it just became very boring.
Yeah, it would be interesting though, because branding is all about differentiation and really standing out from your competitors. Granted, you walk into a fireworks store and you're kind of just blinded by all of the craziness of the illustrations and the designs around you. What if there was a firework label that was called brown wrap? Very classy looking typography, maybe some 2 colors. It stood out in a sea of busyness and color. That could maybe be a seller right there.
Yeah, and that's what it's meant for.
Trademark, Ron and John.
Brown wrap, yeah.
I mean, and that's what it's made for. It'll stand out and people will buy it, but if you try and do like a whole bunch of it, then it just becomes one of many again.
Yeah, definitely.
We have a firework company that basically old school. They just have a bunch of pallets on the ground with a bunch of boxes. Open up the top box, grab it out of there. When that box is done, throw it away, open up another box. And they seem to sell a big volume of one particular brand. And they're like, oh no, this brand sells really good for us. Well, that brand of firework was, the outside carton was white.
Oh.
And I says, yes, in your store, because you got all these ugly brown boxes going down the aisle. There's no color from the labels. So when you see a white box, all of a sudden your eyes are drawn to it and you end up buying it. But when you take
shelf presence.
Yeah, when you take that product out of the white box and you take the product out of the brown box and put it on the shelf, like we have, then it just becomes one of many. So the product doesn't stand out when it's open, but the actual box in our warehouse, you're walking down our warehouse and see, oh, I know where that product is because you recognize the white box.
Yep.
So it's like too much of anything is not good,
Yeah, agreed.
If all the boxes were white, they'd look for the brown one. It's just your eyes see.
True. One thing about that is I know nobody is cutting off the label and pinning it up in their garage like people have been doing with some of your guys' labels.
Yes, exactly.
Pyro Slut. Yes, Pyro Slut was actually, I got banned from the shelves. They wouldn't put it, even at Star, they wouldn't put it on the shelves for a while. We talked about how, fireworks, you have a little bit more leeway, right? You get a little suggestive and racy and whatever, but Pyro Slut was not allowed on the shelves for a while. And then, but
yeah, once they start marching in front of the store with signs, I thought it was a pretty good idea to maybe to.
Well, I thought Johnny had a back room like family video for those.
Yeah, right. That's what you want to go to the Ron, the banker section.
Yeah.
Ron's guarding the door. ID.
Yeah.
We should have just stuck with our idea of the Ron John Surf Shop.
Yeah. So
we did much better in that business.
It's funny because look, we could easily given those guys a sign, right, or a poster.
True.
But this was banned from Starfire, but now it's on the shelf.
But now, if you go to like another firework convention where it's just a bunch of firework enthusiasts, they can't wait to buy it. Oh my God, you gotta, they'll be like with their wives. Oh, look, honey, we got to get this one. They all grab it because they're fireworks enthusiasts. They love that. They love the look. They're, and they'll collect our firecracker labels because we always come out with different labels for firecrackers. And did Kyle do that one for us too, or no?
Which one?
Golden Peacock.
Yeah,
that's right.
That was very intricate. That took a long time to get that one done.
And then didn't we do another one? Oh no, we're doing another. We're doing
we're doing the other one. Yeah. Yep.
That's what I thought. Okay,
What's so when you guys do this, just describe the process a little bit. Like how much of your time is done, initially, and then how much of your time is done getting on the computer, and how much time is done, coloring it all up. What percentage of time would you use for all these things?
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's a lot of there's a little bit of time in the beginning, like studying the all the stuff that I get, from you guys, all the inspirational pieces, and then I do a bunch of quick little sketches to sort of just get the ideas out of my head and onto the page, so a whole bunch of small, quick, dirty sketches. And then I sort of sift through those and pick out a handful of them and shine them up and send them to Kyle. And then we talk over those and pick out the one or two that we think you guys will like. And then I work those up to be a little more understandable, because some of my sketches, I need to point out like, oh, that's a church. That square back there is the church. This hourglass thing, that's Pyro Slut.
Kind of like my handwriting. I got to point out the J.
Yeah, it's like doctor writing in the beginning.
That early stuff is just getting it out, you know, and then you got to take a little more time, make it a little more understandable, look a little nicer, and then send those to you. But then the majority of the time is working on that final image, you know, painting it and coloring it and making it look real nice. And passing off to Kyle, who's been working as well.
But what percentage of your time is done, you know, in the pre, in the middle, and then at the end, percentage-wise?
It's probably split up about 50-50, right? And as you know, and you guys have worked with us a lot, we do spend a lot of time in that discovery phase where we're really just trying to figure out what's been done, what hasn't been done, try to build some parameters for our own creative. And then, of course, doing research online, gathering inspiration and references, and then moving towards that concept development, like Bill was mentioning, with the storyboarding and the quick ideation to get all of those ideas that we curated onto the paper, get some buy-in, start making those revisions. And then, of course, then moving towards inking the actual illustration, coloring it, and then prepping it for handoff to myself, where then I can then start meshing it with kind of my side of the project with the logo, the color palette, the typography, the different brand elements and textures and patterns, and really meshing Bill's world and my world together to then create, you know, that final package design. So it's probably split up probably about 50-50, I would say. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you, we were talking about older talent and artwork, you know, years ago. And of course, a lot of the old talent was before internet. Do you think the internet has helped you, or maybe in some way made you less creative? Because like when I'm doing advertising and I'm doing radio commercials, I don't like to listen to nobody else's commercials, because I sometimes find out, like, I kind of find like I'm copying them. And I notice a lot of my people, my competitors, I'll do a radio commercial and I'll find my competitors taking a spin of my commercial just because they're not thinking on their own. So I try not to listen to nobody's commercials, and I just write them out in my head and get them on a piece of paper and go over a little bit. And we've done some radio commercials right here in the studio and given them to the radio producers. So yeah, I was just curious if the internet has maybe taken away some of the creative juices that, you know, back in the 60s and 70s and even 80s, you had to sit there and kind of draw everything out and think of the car you wanted to draw. And then, of course, now you go on the internet and you get a lot more ideas. There's a lot of discovery and there's a lot of content, but you maybe find yourself kind of following somebody else's lead, per se.
That's definitely something that I think about, because if you're not careful, sorry guys, if you're not careful, you can start, you know, copying people maybe without even knowing it, you know?
Yeah.
Although these days, with everybody being connected all the time, there's so much stuff out there constantly that a hard part for me, who I've always been interested in, like, originality of an idea, you know, like, is coming to the realization that there is no such thing as that anymore. You know, like, no matter how fresh, how original an idea you think you've come up with, because the world is connected now, you can go online and find somebody else who's had that idea already. Maybe they just had it, you know, but it's instantaneous. You know, and like the way people communicate they instantly put that stuff out, constantly putting those things out. There's a lot of stuff out there. So you've got to personally decide like how much you're going to take in, how, think that, like, well, I'm not going to go online right now while I'm working on this because I don't want it to influence me until later,
Yeah.
But on the other
online
hand,
has a lot of influence.
Yeah.
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 It's great in the terms of back in the day, as an artist, I would have to do my drawing and then I would put it into an envelope and give it to the mailman and just pray that in the next 2 or 3 days that it would get there and it wouldn't be folded in half and it wouldn't be set on fire and somebody wouldn't spill their coffee on it on the way. And sometimes all that stuff happened, and these days with, you make a digital file, if that thing gets lost or shredded or whatever, you still have a copy of it. You have 100 copies of it, if you'd had that happen before, you back up all your junk, So like speed, it's great. In terms of, communication, it's great. In terms of not having to go to the library to find a picture of a Camaro.
Right. Yeah.
You just find 1,000 pictures of a Camaro. I can find that exact horse that I'm looking for immediately, which is awesome.
Sure.
But on the other hand, there's just tons of stuff that is out there. So it is kind of best of both worlds.
Yeah. I think the internet has had a huge impact on my creative process. Granted, because my design studio is really focused on building brands and designing identities, perspective is everything. And before I even design anything, I try to soak up as much design as I possibly can, because I don't want to step on another brand's toes. I don't want to pass a logo off to a client and then they start putting it on their vehicles and their billboards and their packaging, and then they get hit with a cease and desist lawsuit. So with that being said, having the internet at our disposal to do very in-depth research into a market to gain that perspective is critical. And yeah, sometimes it can be very discouraging, kind of to Bill's point, because we're in 2026. I think Fast and Furious is on like movie number 10 and Jurassic Park has done, how many iterations of that movie. It's like everything has been done at this point. And when you're looking around and you notice that, it can be a little discouraging to your creativity. But at this point in time, it's really about finding kind of what's been done and figuring out how to do it in your own way or in a fresh manner. And you can surprisingly then begin to start creating original artwork again, even though it may not be the most original idea, your iteration of that idea is original. And it's challenging. Design and illustration, it's very challenging to do that. But in the end, we're all just kind of building on what's come before us. And, the guy who is designing a package design or a logo or a website before me, he's kind of just paving the way for my creativity and how I can take maybe some of his really good ideas, integrate it into mine, and maybe push it to that next level, right? Like, look at both of the illustrations behind you. Clearly, there's two guys sitting behind a desk, maybe at the White House, talking to each other. Obviously, there was some sort of person, Paul Revere, riding on a horse with a lantern, right? These weren't necessarily original ideas, but in the end, the final product was very original. To the purpose of what we were trying to do here. And, I definitely love that about our industry. But, another big effect that the internet has had, at least on my process, is just all the touch points that you have to morph your design to. Because, obviously your viewers are seeing this and they know about a package design, they know about the poster, but we have so many other marketing touch points that we have to take that one illustration and morph it to for YouTube banners and YouTube thumbnails, event flyers and advertisements and billboards. And, the internet has made that possible for us to have all these marketing touch points. And, that's something I love about a very consistent approach to our design is that we're not just creating designs, we're creating systems for design that we can take and create a very consistent campaign, no matter whether you're driving down the highway and you see a billboard for the latest event, or you're in person interacting with the firework, or at the show. It's created a lot of opportunity for where our designs are being seen.
Yeah, consistency is important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Our advertising, keep the same theme going.
Right. And yeah,
Right.
you and I need to do a better job of that, because there's a lot of stuff that we create here for Fireworks Brigade that somehow doesn't make it to Starr Fireworks, Starr Fireworks website, although we're trying to rectify that, and that's in the process. So, all right, we've been talking a long time. I'll give you guys one last question and we'll wrap it up. Midnight Ride. Let's go back to Midnight Ride. Our Pyro Slut girl on the horse. April 18th, 1775, one if by land, two if by sea. We'll go with Bill first. When you created this, what was when you're looking at this picture now, what was the most difficult thing to get right? What was tough?
Well, I don't know. I think it was the clothing, trying to, I wanted to evoke the time period, but also make it sexy, and that was, that's not usually my thing. I enjoy that stuff, but if I sit down to draw something, I'm usually drawing something scary or gross or monstrous,
There you go. Yeah.
So, when it comes to drawing a pretty lady, I had to shift some gears and think a different way,
There you go.
and that was challenging and interesting and cool. It was cool to check out like all the period clothing and costuming, and see like, oh, this is what they would be wearing. This is what Paul Revere was actually wearing at the time. That's pretty cool.
Probably would have been easier if we made Paul Revere a cross-dresser. We already know what he looked like. Put him in some, that would have been easier.
Yeah. Put him in bronze.
My eyes were straight
That
up.
probably would have saved me some money.
Kyle, when you did all the rest of the artwork, the packaging and the labels and all that stuff, what stands out to you? What was difficult?
I think it was challenging to just figure out what the vibe was going to look like to really connect with like that American, Revolutionary War time. And I definitely looked to some big brands that kind of had that look. And it's challenging to curate all these moving pieces from, the typography and the logo. You can see that we have a very serif, strong looking typography face for Midnight Ride, but then it's paired with that almost constitutional type writing for Pyro Sluts. And then, of course, bringing in the textures of, I think it was from our currency, from our money, almost
the
like
lines in the back,
counterfeit texture into the background. And then thinking about the flag and the stars and the stripes and the banner at the top, just bringing all of these seemingly obvious elements together in a way that could evoke a feeling of a certain time period is definitely difficult.
I like the I don't know if it's a side panel or what it'll be, but I like the
it's a top panel.
Is that the top? Whatever it is, the one where she's got her foot on the box of TNT, her hand on her hip, and she's and it says 1776 in the background.
Yes.
I love that. And then we got the other side. I think this is the top, the one where it's just a close up of her face.
Yeah.
With the two red stripes behind her. Yeah, it's this thing is gonna fly up.
I think
Oh, all right, gotcha. Yeah, okay, this is good.
This is more work for me.
Yes. So I feel your pain.
John, we're here. Midnight Ride. You feel my pain. Midnight Ride right behind us.
Midnight Ride is right behind us.
Yes,
over
yes.
there. Look,
This is
I'm even pointing the right way. Look at that.
First look, Fireworks Brigade Pyro Podcast. First look, Midnight Ride. Pyro Sluts. Are we calling it Pyro Sluts Midnight Ride or just Midnight Ride?
Midnight Ride.
Yeah.
It's
says
underneath
Pyro
It's
Slut.
underneath the Pyro Slut logo.
Yeah.
Well, it does say Pyro Sluts, but not on the label. It just says
No,
Midnight Ride.
It does say on the.
It says Pyro Sluts Midnight Ride on the label. Wow,
it's Midnight Ride. We're gonna call it Midnight Ride.
Yeah, it is Midnight Ride.
So this is a new cake from the Pyro Slut label. It's 24 shots, 350 grams, 1.5 inch. That's the tube size.
Yep,
It. So these are being made by.
Oh, we never say the maker.
We never say the maker. All right, these are being made specifically just for you.
Yes.
Anyway, so this is a great label. As you can see behind us, it's got the Paul Revere inspired Pyro Slut on our Midnight Ride, 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. April of 1775, Lexington, Massachusetts. So we thought as a tribute to being patriotic, tribute to America, and tribute to Paul Revere, we get Pyro Slut up on a horse and see what we can do.
So it's part of our kind of like our 250 year kind of theme that we're going with. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But and you and I were talking about this earlier. I feel like we've been waiting so long for this one. We had made this like at least almost a year.
We've been working on this a long time.
We've been working on this a long time, and we got the label done, and we even sold some of these posters at NFA. People loved them, but no one yet until today, John. Right now, no one has seen the firework. And I got to tell you, we've had a lot of great labels and some hits and misses, like, we can name a couple, like, well, the fireworks should have been better or whatever. But this one here, just after looking at this video and knowing what the manufacturers can do with this, I'm thinking we got a home run on our hands.
And then once again, in person, it's going to look that much better.
Right.
Yeah. We're not picking up all the true colors as much on this because it's more white flashes. But it's really nice.
I'm impressed with the sound.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is just my little computer. If this is just a video. If the sound that we get from the actual firework is anything like what we got here, it's going to be amazing.
No, it's going to be very good. No, it's definitely a good, really nice piece. Turned out really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So. What you want to say?
The colors are fantastic.
The colors. So I can explain.
The color palette is unbelievable on the label itself, though. And as we were talking about that earlier, I just love the color of the label. I think it's going to sell really well.
Oh yeah.
And then once they see their performance of it, that's a bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go into what it is exactly. So it's 24 shots. Blue with red laces and white glitters. Silver palms with blue and red glitters. Red palms with blue and silver chrysanthemums, brocade crown with blue and red glitters, gold palms with blue and red glitters, silver chrysanthemums. So as you can see, there's a theme here: red, white, and blue. Obviously, if you're going to do anything patriotic for for this time of the year, you got to go with the red, white, and blue. And the sound again is incredible, and
and I like that crackling in each shot, but not like that, not like a crackling chrysanthemum, a little bit different effect. I kind of like it.
Yeah, let's play it so everyone can see it, and then after it goes through, we'll play it again, and you and I can talk about it. So, all right, we're gonna play it. Ready, start. Great finale. I love the silver. It's awesome. I
like those little I like those crackling spots. I like that. That really looks nice.
And
in person, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. First thing I noticed, like I said, was the sound. But after watching again, the brakes are huge.
The brakes are big.
The brakes are huge. So
once again in person, it really when I look at videos, I don't. It's just hard for me in videos. I'm used to seeing everything in person.
Right.
But, I always say videos don't do fireworks justice, but this one turned out nice, but the product itself is unbelievable.
I'm going to say Midnight Ride is going to be a big seller this year. Yeah. So if it's 24 shots, 350 grams, do we know how many are going to come in a case?
6.
6 in a case. So it'll be 6 per case. we don't have a price point yet, but we're
we wanted to make it more cost effective for everyone. That's why I like to do
Yeah.
six in a case.
Yeah, a lot of these Fireworks Brigade stuff, we're really price conscious on these. Yeah, this is kind of an offshoot of Fireworks Brigade fireworks. So let's take a look at it again, and maybe we'll go through it, and as we watch it, we'll talk. Again, big brakes, the red, white, and blue.
It really hits them out really nice. I love that. I just like that crackling. But it's not your typical crackling like you see. It's like more like a flash, like a spot. And I like it.
I'm speechless.
The noise is great. The color is really awesome. The height, I've seen it in person. It's hard to judge on the height is unbelievable.
Yeah. What about the pace? The pace is spot on.
I think it's perfect.
35 seconds.
Yeah.
35 seconds, that is, 34, whatever it is, but the pace.
It's not boring. It keeps you going.
No.
And, definitely like it a lot.
And it gets you with the 4-shot finale.
The 4-shot finale.
So nice pace going through 20 shots. Get you with the 4-shot finale. I'm thinking the finale is the blue and red glitters with the silver chrysanthemums.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's great. I can't wait for people to get a hold of this. Like I said, you and I have been.
I mean, look at the posters and the picture that sold at NFA just because the label really speaks for itself.
Yeah, this label, the poster at NFA auction was almost $1,000. Somebody, and the year before we couldn't give away Decade of Discord because. Pyro Slut's got the sexy girl on the horse, and Decade of Discord is me and you behind the desk. Yeah, it's got Jay Leno and Uncle Fester.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't even want to buy it, and I had to
behind the desk. But the this one here, man, this is going to be great. This is it's I don't know. I'm this first time I'm speechless. I just hope once we get it, and I'm sure it will be. It's going to be everything that we're.
And then we're gonna do our teaser YouTube videos on it as well during the. During the
season we will shoot this off. We'll do a bunch of stuff. We'll do an unboxing. We'll do it all. I mean, and then
definitely gotta do an unboxing.
We'll do an unboxing of this. We'll get some maybe we get some t-shirts made, sell some t-shirts,
and then we'll put this up again. So we always do that. What do we do?
We'll
Pyro Showdown, whatever.
Yeah, we do our Pyro Showdown.
So we'll team this up with another 250 and inspired label.
Mm-hmm. This is 350 grams, and there's never really a 350 gram aisle, is there?
No.
So is that like a misnomer? Is it just bigger than a 200?
Well, it is. I mean, in China, if it's over 200 gram, it's a 500 gram. But
okay.
In theory, it's not really 500 grams. It's 350. Now, this is actually like 390 or 400. But, there are some 6-1 cakes that are marked 500 grams, even though they're not really 500 grams.
Got you.
They just mark it that way because anything over 200
is technically 500.
Technically a 500.
But
we here at Starr Fireworks, we like to tell you exactly what's in the cake, not a label that says, "Oh no, this is 500 gram. How come it's smaller than the rest of them?"
All right.
But we do it because obviously you can see that the cake does not lack any ability, and the sound, the performance, everything is great, and we try and make it more more competitive on the price.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely,
especially with freight. So
freight. So all right, and then this isn't in yet, but so let's just tell anybody who's interested in getting some of this.
It's on its way.
It's on its way. What's your expected timing? If someone placed an order, when would they be able to get this?
Let's see. It'll be probably it'll be here before the 20th of May.
Before the 20th of May.
Yeah.
Awesome. There you go. All right, let's watch it one more time. Hit go.
All right. I love the red lace effect. I always like that.
What is the red lace?
Yeah, it's hard to really tell in this video, but it's really pretty. It's I've seen other cakes before.
I'm sure I have. Yeah, I've seen enough.
It's hard to describe it, but it's like that red one, just like sprinkles and just like twinkles, and it's just really a cool look. I like the lace effect.
Yeah, I'm excited by this one, man. I can't wait for everyone to see it. Can't wait for that logo to be out there. The label to be out there in front of everybody because it's been again seen at NFA and things like that. But this is the first look. Everybody's going to enjoy this if you want to respond.
What we should do is maybe do a, just for fun, we'll do like a finale at Starr Fireworks when we're doing our pyro show. We'll use all the cakes that you design. We'll take a happy ending, Decade of Discord, Mortar Madness, put them all out
all
there.
All the Rhonda Banker fireworks.
Pull them all out there in just one big finale. That'd be kind of cool,
there
I
you
think.
go. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
It's not all mine. Those are yours too. You and I both created.
Well, yeah,
together.
we created, but I'm saying just the ones that we personally worked on,
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Fireworks Brigade adjacent.
Yeah. You got Fireworks Brigade. You got Decade of Discord.
Yeah.
You got Mortar Madness.
Yeah.
You got another one I can't think of. I think there was a poster on it.
Oh, we got Pyro Slut.
We got Pyro Slut.
We got Pyro Slut. We got Cartel Nights. We got Master of Rockets.
That
goes way back.
Yeah. So you got
we got Happy Ending,
and so we have them all in stock.
Yeah.
Other than Master of Rockets, so we should probably do them all where we just do like a finale of it'd be a nice YouTube thing there. Yep.
All right.
Perfect.
We'll get that in. So first look, Pyro Slut's Midnight Ride. You had it here. Hope you see it soon. Bye.